TNT says, I'm not missing out on this twice. We missed out on this once because Unrivaled is garbage. Nobody watches, nobody cares, nobody pays attention. It's gimmick basketball. We already threw our money out the window and lost out. Damn.
What if everything you've been told about the explosion of women's basketball is actually a massive illusion? Because in the ruthless world of sport broadcasting, there's only one currency that matters: eyeballs. Networks don't spend hundreds of millions because they love the game. They spend it because attention equals advertising money, and advertising money is a real championship trophy. For the past year, the mainstream media has been pushing this polished narrative that the entire women's basketball ecosystem suddenly became a cultural phenomenon. They want you to believe fans are tuning in for the legacy stars, the veteran players, the tradition of the league. But behind the closed doors of corporate boardrooms, executives have started realizing something terrifying. The surge wasn't about the league. It wasn't about the movement. It was about one generational superstar who flipped the entire sports world upside down, Caitlin Clark. And when the establishment tried to prove they didn't need her, they triggered one of the most brutal corporate backfires we've seen in modern sports media. Veteran WNBA stars even launched their own 3-on-3 startup league called Unrivaled, pitching it as a revolutionary player-owned empire. TNT Sports jumped in fast, cutting the checks and betting big, believing they had just built the perfect trap to land the biggest prize in basketball, Caitlin Clark herself. But here's where the story takes a wild turn. Clark didn't show up. She stayed home, rested up, hit the golf course, and completely walked away from the unrivaled hype machine. And the moment she made that move, the entire financial house of cards started shaking. Now, before we break down what happened next, you've got to see this.
Hey, TNT, guess what? We got a great idea. It's going to be a 3-on-3 basketball league. We're going to get Caitlin Clark, but we need your help to do so. We need a TV deal, and we need some financing. If you can give us both, we will land Caitlin Clark. TNT responds, that's all you need? You need some money to go out and get the biggest fish in the pond? Here's money. You want a TV deal? Well, you're going to have Caitlin Clark, so yeah, seems like a win-win. Here's a TV deal. Fast forward a year and a half, Unrivaled.
Man, that last clip says a lot, doesn't it? Because once Unrivaled actually tipped off without Caitlin Clark in the building, the reality of television economics hit TNT like a freight train. This wasn't just a small dip in numbers. We're talking full-blown corporate panic mode. The ratings dropped straight into the abyss. The grand experiment, the league that was supposed to prove veteran WNBA stars could carry the audience on their own, suddenly looked like a niche gimmick the mainstream public had zero interest in watching. Fans tuned in, looked around, realized number 22 wasn't anywhere on that court, and just like that, they checked out. TNT had poured millions into what they believed was the next big cultural sports movement, but instead they were staring at a brutal truth. The phenomenon wasn't the league. The phenomenon was Caitlin Clark. And when network executives realized they'd essentially bought a counterfeit product, they did what corporate power players always do. They pivoted fast. Because TNT wasn't about to sit back and eat that loss. They recognized something crystal clear. Women's basketball as a concept doesn't sell premium ad slots. Caitlin Clark does. So in pure survival mode, TNT called an emergency audible. If the domestic league couldn't deliver the golden goose, then they were going to hunt for her on the international stage instead. And what happened next? You seriously need to see this.
Along with Jackie Young, TNT says, I'm not missing out on this twice. We missed out on this once because Unrivaled is garbage. Nobody watches, nobody cares, nobody pays attention. It's gimmick basketball. We already threw our money out the window and lost out. Damn. But this whole FIBA ordeal? Oh, we can cash in here. Yesterday,
that clip right there shows exactly why the pressure inside those network boardrooms is reaching nuclear levels. Because TNT's sudden move to grab the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifying rights, that wasn't some casual expansion strategy. That was a full-blown emergency rescue mission. After watching the wreckage of their unrivaled investment burn in real time, executives basically said one thing: never again. They weren't going to gamble on hype anymore. They went straight for the one guaranteed ratings magnet in the entire sport, Caitlin Clark. Think about how brutal that is for the founders of Unrivaled. The very network that funded their shiny new startup is now sidestepping them completely, buying international broadcast rights just to get access to Clark's audience. And the scale difference is insane. While unrivaled games are being played in a small Miami soundstage to tiny TV numbers, Clark is preparing to step onto a global fever broadcast that reaches viewers across North America, Europe, and Asia all at the same time. TNT knows something the numbers have made crystal clear. A random Thursday afternoon qualifier featuring Caitlin Clark could easily outdraw the unrivaled championship game in prime time. But here's the part of the story that gets even darker. Because this disaster isn't just about ratings and lost money anymore. There's real human collateral behind it. Professional basketball bodies aren't built to absorb endless punishment. Every jump, every hard stop, every explosive cut eats away at those knees and ankles. An unrivaled fast, physical 3-on-3 format push that's stressed to another level, especially for bigger franchise players. Which brings us to a brutal twist nobody wanted to see. Aliyah Boston, the Indiana Fever's defensive anchor, Caitlin Clark's pick-and-roll partner, the cornerstone of that entire front court, was supposed to be standing beside Clark on that international stage representing Team USA. Instead, she's on a flight back to Indianapolis, her immediate basketball future suddenly uncertain, her body paying the price for a league that many insiders now believe never should have existed. And what happened after that injury sent shockwaves through the league? You need to see this next.
Well, Aliyah Boston will no longer compete in the World Cup qualifiers after her right lower extremity injury in Unrivaled. Fever PR, Aliyah Boston will return to Indianapolis for further evaluation. Additional updates will be provided as they become available. Aliyah Boston got injured in Unrivaled. Reason number 762 why Unrivaled is a waste of everybody.
That clip right there is where the story stops being business and starts getting real ugly. Because Aliyah Boston didn't get hurt chasing a WNBA title. She didn't go down battling for Olympic gold. No, she suffered a lower extremity injury playing in Unrivaled, an off-season exhibition league that barely anybody is watching. And just like that, a generational talent lost a chance to represent her country on the world stage alongside the biggest draw in the sport, Caitlin Clark. That's a brutal reality critics are pointing at right now. They are saying Unrivaled isn't some revolutionary leap forward for women's basketball. It's a dangerous side operation that's putting the league's most valuable stars directly in harm's way. Think about it. Boston risked a body in a manufactured TV product for a fraction of what her true value actually is. And the ripple effects of that injury go way deeper than missing an international tournament. Because right now the WNBA is heading straight toward a potential labor war. The Players Association has been flexing hard, pushing toward a league-wide strike, demanding massive increases in revenue sharing and positioning themselves as an unstoppable united front against the billionaire owners. But here's the harsh reality of labor negotiations in professional sports. Leverage depends on infrastructure, and the players may be about to discover they've miscalculated their own vulnerability. If this dispute explodes into a lockout, the owners can shut the entire league down overnight. That doesn't just mean paychecks stop coming in. It means the league's entire medical safety net disappears too. And once that happens, the situation for injured players could turn even more dangerous. Check this out.
Now here's the kicker. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. If there's a lockout, if there's a strike, does Aliyah Boston have access to the Indiana Fever medical team anymore? Or does she now need to go find her own means of rehabbing, her own means of getting healthy again? Players need to think about that possibility as well. Unrivaled's all fine and dandy until you realize all the actual...
That last clip really puts the whole situation into perspective, doesn't it? Because this is the part of the story the union leadership rarely talks about publicly. If a lockout hits tomorrow, the reality for players like Aliyah Boston changes instantly. No Indiana Fever medical staff. No multi-million-dollar rehab facilities. No guaranteed access to the elite orthopedic specialists that professional franchises keep on standby. In a labor shutdown, that entire safety net disappears overnight. And that's the terrifying part. If players strike against the billionaire owners, they are suddenly operating on their own. A startup league like Unrivaled simply doesn't have the medical infrastructure of a billion-dollar sports organization. We're talking about nutrition programs, advanced imaging, top-tier physical therapy, surgeons on permanent retainer, the invisible system that keeps elite athletes functioning at the highest level. Critics say many players got blinded by the quick upfront money from Unrivaled without thinking about the massive support system the WNBA quietly provides every single day. And when you step back and look at the bigger chessboard, this whole saga is pushing toward a very explosive endgame. League owners are watching everything unfold in real time. The ratings drops, the injuries piling up, the growing tension with the Players Association. And make no mistake, these are billionaires protecting billion-dollar investments. With the new media rights money pouring into the league, owners are preparing to offer life-changing contracts, potentially pushing top franchise stars toward the $1 million per year mark. But billionaires never write checks like that without conditions. If they're going to guarantee that kind of money, they're going to demand absolute loyalty and exclusivity from their stars. And the rule changes they're reportedly considering could completely reshape the future of women's basketball. Watch this.
The $1 million max, will you let her play in another league and possibly get injured? Won't teams want to protect their investments? Absolutely. Absolutely. We haven't heard anything about exclusivity, but if I'm paying you $1 million, your ass better not be playing in no bullshit league, especially a 3v3 gimmick basketball league.
Wow. That clip right there might be the most revealing moment of this entire saga, because this is where the real power play happens. When the next collective bargaining agreement finally hits the table, insiders believe the WNBA owners are going to drop the hammer with strict, non-negotiable exclusivity clauses. And the argument is simple. They'll point straight to the wreckage, the Aliyah Boston injury, the embarrassing rating collapse of Unrivaled, and deliver a brutal ultimatum. If players want those massive new contracts, if they want $1 million salaries, elite medical care, and global exposure through major broadcast partners, then the days of playing in off-season gimmick leagues could be over. From a business standpoint, owners see it as protecting a multi-million-dollar investment. Insurance companies don't want their franchise stars risking catastrophic injuries in independent leagues during the winter, and that flips the entire strategy on its head. The veterans who launched Unrivaled believed they were building leverage, a parallel basketball economy that would force owners to cave in negotiations. But instead, critics argue they may have unintentionally proved the opposite. The ratings showed networks something brutal. Without Caitlin Clark, the audience disappears. Fans showed something even harsher. The product struggles to hold mainstream attention without the sport's biggest draw. And to ownership groups, the message became crystal clear. Allowing stars to play in unregulated off-season leagues might simply be too big of a financial risk. Meanwhile, the wildest twist of all, Caitlin Clark didn't fight this battle publicly at all. She stayed home, protected her body, focused on her game, and let the entire power struggle unfold around her. Now the media smokescreen is clearing. The business realities of sports are front and center, and the next CBA negotiations could reshape the entire future of women's basketball. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think WNBA owners should ban players from leagues like Unrivaled to protect their investments? Will Aliyah Boston's injury change the way players approach a potential strike? Or is this labor battle just getting started? Drop your take in the comments right now, because the smartest voices in this community always bring the best debates. And if you want the real behind-the-scenes breakdowns of the business, the power moves, and the drama shaping women's basketball, make sure you subscribe to WNBA Vibe, turn on notifications, and share this video with another basketball fan. Because here, we don't follow the headlines. We break down the game behind the game. Stay sharp. I'll catch you in the next one. Fire basketball and hoop.